الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So in continuing discussing the book Bulugh al-Maram by Hafid ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah, and we are the bab that is he mentioned here regarding matter, the bab concerning izalat al-najasah. So discussing concerning those matters that relates to things that are deemed to be najas, or a discussion regarding certain things being deemed to be najas, and also the way about how to purify those things. So we are discussing concerning, so we continue discussing this chapter, and we had stopped at the hadith of Omar ibn Kharija. We'll pick up from this hadith, and also what can be taken from this hadith, and also the hadiths that proceed. So we'll read through the hadith of Omar ibn Kharija, and then we'll go through the normal system regarding discussing the hadith and what can be taken from the hadith. So the hadith will be read, then we'll discuss the hadith. Tafaddal.
Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Page 26, hadith 24, narrated Amr bin Kharija radiallahu an. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam delivered a khutbah to us at Mina while mounted on his camel, and its saliva was dripping on my shoulder. Reported by Ahmed and At-Tirmidhi, and the latter graded it sahih, authentic.
So that's the hadith that was read regarding, and this hadith is the hadith of Amr bin Kharija, that he says, قال خطبنا Nabi alayhi salam, and some mention Rasulullah alayhi salam bimina. So some narration mention Nabi, and some narration mention Rasulullah. So I mentioned that here the Prophet alayhi salam, he made this address of to the Sahaba while he was in Mina, وهو على راحلته, and also he was mounted on his camel, وَلُهَابُهَا يَسِيلَ على كتفيه, and also the luhab, which is the saliva from the animal, it was running along upon his shoulders. And he mentioned hadith أخرجه Ahmed with Tirmidhi وصححه. So the hadith it is collected by Ahmed in his Musnad, and also at Tirmidhi in his Al-Jama', and that he have authenticated hadith. So as the system that we follow, that in discussing these hadiths, that first we discuss concerning matter regarding the rawi of the hadith, or the sahabi that is mentioned, and this particular sahabi that is Amr ibn Kharija. Then we discuss next takhrij of the hadith regarding concerning those who collected the hadith, and also the judgment of the ulama of hadith on this on the hadith. Then we discuss, follow that, we discuss concerning the meaning of the hadith and certain words in the hadith. Then we discuss the masail and the fawahid that can be taken from the hadith. So as for the first matter regarding concerning the sahabi, the rawi of the hadith, that Amr ibn Kharija, that it is said to be concerning, that his name is Amr ibn Kharija ibn Muntafiq al-Asadi. And it is says يقال العشعري أو أنصاري. So it says this sahabi who is Amr ibn Kharija, it is said that he is also Ash'ari or Al-Ansari. And also Sakana al-Sham, that he lived in Sham, in the area of Greater Syria, as it is known, referred to. And as for this particular sahabi, that some at times may mention that when they mention concerning Amr ibn Kharija, some at times may flip the name by mention Kharija ibn Amr. And as mentioned by Ibn Hajar, that what is authentic, what is more authentic, that his actual name is Amr ibn Kharija, contrary to those who might refer to him as Kharija ibn Amr. And as for this sahabi, radiyallahu anhu, that is a hadith, they can be found that in the books of the Sunnah among Kutubu Sitta, his hadith can be found with Tirmidhi, Nasahi, and also Ibn Majah, and also other books of hadith. So that's concerning this sahabi that is mentioned here. The second matter that is discussed, that we'll cover, is matter regarding takhrij of the hadith. So looking at hadith by way of those who have collected the hadith, and also what have been said by the ulama pertaining to the authenticity of, or the grading of this particular hadith. That as for this particular hadith that has been mentioned here, that Sheikh Hallaq rahimahullah, in his checking of the book of Bulugh al-Maram, when he mentioned this particular hadith of Amr ibn Kharija, that he stated concerning that this particular hadith, وَهُوَ hadith sahih لغيري, that this hadith is mentioned, this hadith is sahih لغيري. أخرجه Ahmed in his في مسند, Tirmidhi في mention السنن, or some mention الجامع, وقال hadith Hasan Sahih. So Tirmidhi rahimahullah would mention the hadith that he graded this hadith as Hasan Sahih. Wa Ibn Majah also have collected this hadith, and also he mentioned An-Nasa'i, Tayalisi, Ad-Darimi, wa ghayrihim. Then he mentioned وقال Albani rahimahullah في الإرواء. So Albani rahimahullah regarding his judgment on this hadith قال لعله تصحيح الترمذي من أجل شواهد كثيرة إلا أن شهر ibn Hawshab ضعيف لسوء حفظه. So what he have stated that that Albani rahimahullah, that he owed this hadith, that he mentioned that At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah had authenticated this hadith based upon the hadith of many other narrations. So you have many other supporting hadith that coincide with this hadith. So based upon this, that Tirmidhi rahimahullah authenticated a hadith. But also he mentioned that also that this hadith, it has some weakness. This hadith that is mentioned, that has certain weakness, it has a weakness, which is one of the narrators, Shahr ibn Hawshab, that is considered to be weak, a weak narrator, based upon sulhif, that he had poor memory. So that's concerning what is mentioned here regarding this particular hadith by Sheikh Halak. As for what is mentioned by Sheikh Yasin Fahl, that he mentioned when this hadith of Amr ibn Hawshab, that Amr ibn Kharija, that he states when he mentioned this hadith, that he said isnaduhu da'if. So he all that isnaduhu, that this hadith, going back to isnad, it is weak. Then he mentioned fihi, in it, Shahr ibn Hawshab, because in this isnad you have one of the narrators, his name is Shahr ibn Hawshab, that he mentioned bain daf, that is weak, that is a weak narrator, lahu shawahid, but the hadith that have other supporting hadith. Then he mentioned akhrajahu Tayalisi wa Sa'id ibn Mansur, also Ahmed in his Musnad, Ibn Majah, At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Abu Yala, Bayhaqi. So those are of those sources that I mentioned this hadith. So this hadith, it is mentioned by many books of the Sunnah, or books of collectors of hadith, and the more renowned of them that have been mentioned, the Musnad of Ahmed in Musnad, also of Kutub al-Sitta, they mentioned here At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, and the likes, other books of Tayalisi, also others Ad-Darimi, also they mentioned Abu Yala, also Bayhaqi, and who have narrated this hadith. So this hadith, so this is the hadith that is mentioned. So the point is that this hadith, it has some weakness. Of those who have authenticated hadith, it is based upon supporting hadith. So they refer to as shawahid. Well, so based upon the different shawahid, and also they mention different turuq, that this hadith, this is the reason behind some of the ulama ruling this hadith to be authentic. And of those other supporting hadith, you have the narration of Anas bin Malik, radiyallahu anhu, that is in the Ibn Majah, that is with Ibn Majah, wal Bayhaqi, wal Tabarani fi Musnad, al Shami'in, Darakutni, and others. So you find the likes of Busiri in his Zawahid, he mentioned Isnaduhu Sahih. So he mentioned Isnaduhu Sahih. That he mentioned Rijaluhu Thiqat. That Isnaduhu Sahih, Rijaluhu Thiqat. So the hadith of Anas bin Malik, which is very similar to the hadith of that is mentioned here by Amr ibn Kharija. So those hadith, it gives support to each other. And the narrator who's criticized is said to be Shahr ibn Hawshab, who is somewhat weak in his memory. So it's not so other supporting evidence can use to assist that hadith and to upgrade the hadith to hadith al-maqbul or Hasan or Sahih. Then I mentioned also of other ulama of authentic hadith. I mentioned that Ibn Turkamani, so Ibn Turkamani rahimahullah, that he has Jawhar al-Naqi, which is some work that he did, which is mentioned, قال هذا سند جيد, that is sanad, it is جيد. So based upon the isnad, this hadith, that it by itself it is weak, but with other supporting hadith, such as the hadith of Anas bin Malik and others, when it is support this hadith and upgrade this hadith to Hasan, or upgrade this hadith to Sahih. But this hadith is the hadith, so that's concerning the takhrij of this hadith. This is the takhrij of this hadith. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, when he mentioned this narrator, that I mentioned Shahr ibn Hawshab, قال في تقريب صدوق كثير إرسال والأوهام. He mentioned صدوق كثير إرسال والأوهام, meaning that he sometimes narrate hadith irsal, that he narrate hadith directly upon the Sahaba, that upon the Prophet ﷺ, and also awham, that he also makes errors. And as mentioned, Shaykh Al-Albani, remember, suhif, that he has poor memory. So that's concerning this hadith that is mentioned here, regarding concerning as the next matter regarding the mawdu of the hadith. So the mawdu of this hadith regarding the matter regarding hukum lu'ab al-ibl. This hadith is to discuss concerning what's the hukum regarding lu'ab, regarding concerning that the saliva of the camel, is it said to be tahir, pure, or najis? So that's concerning what is to be discussed regarding this hadith. As for the next matter to be covered regarding the meaning of the hadith. So this is the hadith that it mentioned regarding concerning that Omar ibn Kharija radiyallahu anhu قال خطبنا رسول الله السلام, that the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he addresses bin Mina. So it mentioned it was a khutbah, and this hadith that it was this khutbah, and this hadith is related to Mina, where the Prophet Islam that he gave a khutbah. So regarding concerning that during the time of Hajj, so this hadith is related to Hajjatul Wada. So this hadith, it is the circumstance related to this hadith is around regarding the event of Hajj, where the Prophet was performing is Hajj with the Sahaba. And of those things that was caught by the Sahabi and others, that they caught different aspects of this event of Hajj. So of those things that is mentioned regarding is khutbah. So in this khutbah, which is concerning khutbah in this Hajjatul that this khutbah that was done regarding concerning that Hajjatul Wada, that he addressed concerning the people. And he mentioned here that fil Mina. So they mentioned regarding the Prophet Islam that he was in Mina when he made this address. And Mina, they mentioned that Mina is referred to as such regarding concerning that Turaq bidhab wal nahar, regarding concerning that Mina is the place where the slaughtering it occurs. So Mina is the area where the slaughtering, so the dabah, that the slaughtering regarding the Hujjaj, the animals that they take for Hajj, and for those performing Hajj who has these animals to be slaughtered, then it will take place in Mina. So there's a place where concerned that blood is spilled. So this is the area where blood is spilled regarding the animals are slaughtered as a part of the rites of Hajj. So that's concerning what is said, what is referred to as Mina. Then it mentions that then the hadith also mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ, that he was mounted upon his camel. So he ﷺ was mounted upon his camel and addressing the people regarding his khutbah. So they mentioned regarding concerning that rahilatihi alayhi salam, that he was on his mount addressing the people. So upon his camel addressing the people. And the next of those things that is mentioned, the next concern lu'ab of the ibl, that it was running on the shoulders of the Sahabi regarding Amr ibn Kharija. So the Prophet Islam, that this person was beneath the animal, the saliva was falling onto his shoulders. So some narration mention ala lu'abuha yasil ala katifayhi. So mention katifayhi or katifi. Katifayhi meaning both his shoulders, or katifi on one of his shoulders. So different. So some read the hadith as being on both his shoulders, and some read the hadith as being on one of his. It was running on one of his shoulders. So in both circumstances, it was running on his shoulders, or one of his shoulders. So, and the Prophet Islam observed this and did not per se instructing him that he should wash off his shoulders, indicating that is something which is not impure. And that matter will be discussed further. So these are concerned this so that's concerning that the lu'ab. Regarding concern that we mentioned lu'ab is the saliva that runs, that water that comes from the mouth of the animal, and it was running onto this person's shoulder. So it's also from the hadith that it shows regarding the Prophet Islam in addressing the people that he was upon his mount, which is his camel. So show the permissibility regarding a person addressing, giving a khutbah, giving an address to others, and he's on something which is high, raised, so the people, one, can see him. Second, so they can give more attention, that they can see the person that is addressing them, so they give more attention. Also from the hadith, it shows regarding the Prophet Islam that sometimes in giving an address, that he likes to be raised high. So again, he can be seen, and also second, that his voice can be heard better and can be carried better. So it can somewhat raise the volume of the voice because the person is somewhat on a high place. So the Prophet ﷺ, he stood on his or sat on his camel. And also it shows the ulama mentioned regarding that it is something that can be done. The person given a mau'izah or a khutbah upon his rahila, upon his mount, if there's a need. So if there's something which is needed to be done, then this can be done. It shows the permissibility of this. That in today's time, so it showed that then there was no, the Prophet ﷺ did it as such. Today, we have, the person could be sitting on a chair or a mimbar or the likes. So these are a way of the person, these things can be used as a way of the person to use regarding to stand or to sit on into giving an address. So that's concerning that particular hadith regarding what is mentioned. There also, Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan, Hafidallahu Ra'ahu, that when he mentioned this particular matter as being of the sixth matter regarding al-wajh al-sadis, where he mentioned regarding فيه دليل على جواز الخطبة والموعظة على راحلة وأن هذا مباح لوجود المصلحة, that is something that can be done by to give an address while a person is still on his mount. It could be on a car, it could be on a camel and the likes, and also this address, given an address, can be done on a chair also, so also on a mimbar. So given an address where the person is somewhat sitting or standing on something that he can be seen from a far distance and also can be heard better. Then also he mentioned regarding concerning this particular matter that also you find some hadith of the Prophet of Islam that forbid this matter, regarding concern that forbid this particular matter. Then so he mentioned that أما ما وردت من نهي عن ذلك فهو محمول على. So he mentioned you find some hadith that discuss concerning something that the Prophet ﷺ forbid a person from doing so, regarding concerning sitting and giving address upon a camel. Then he mentioned, and the hadith that discussed this matter, he mentioned that the hadith is a hadith that is mentioned by Abu Hurairah anhu. النبي عليه السلام قال إياكم أن تتخذوا ظهور دوابكم منابر. That Islam have mentioned hadith, part of the hadith mentioned that the Prophet considered إياكم, I caution you that you should use the dhuhur, the backs of your dawab, your animals, as a manabir, as a mimbar, as a place to stand to give an address. Then he mentioned Inna Allah, then he mentioned hadith. The hadith kind of somewhat mentioned, but other thing that he kind of somewhat cautioned. And this hadith, the end of hadith, he mentioned that Inna Allah innama sakhar lakum an tablughukum ila balad لم تكونوا بالغي إلا شق أنفس وجعل لكم الأرض فعليها فقدي حاجتكم. So Islam, that's the hadith somewhat, but the shahid from the hadith mentioned إياكم أن تتخذوا ظهور دوابكم منابر. That's the shahid from the hadith where Islam, he mentioned that you should not per se use the backs of your camels, your animals, as a place as a manabir, as a place to sit and to give public address. Then this particular hadith that is mentioned, that is hadith in the Abu Dawood in his Sunan, and one of the narrators was Yahya ibn Amr, that mentioned is Thiqa, wa Abu Miriam, where they mentioned that Al-Ijli and other ulama to be Thiqat, and based upon this, that the likes of Shaykh Albani rahimahullah that have authenticated hadith. So Shaykh Albani rahimahullah have authenticated this hadith, where the Prophet kind of somewhat in his book of As-Sahihah, where so the Prophet in this hadith forbid this matter. So the ulama kind of somewhat in trying to harmonize between this hadith, that it mentioned that it can be done if there's a need. So in a case concerned that there's no need, then a person should not do so. But if the person, it is allowed on certain times of needs, a time of need, that it can be done. So he mentions in time of jawaz, they show the permissibility. But if the person can use other things, then it is preferred to those things to be used, but it is still allowed for the person to use to sit on on his camel and his animal to give a public address. But that per se today is not a practice. That is not a practice. That is a common practice of today's time. So regarding concerning the next of those matters are discussed in the hadith mentioned of the fawaid that can be discussed concerning the matter is case the fiqh of the hadith. So the fiqh of this hadith that Sheikh, they mention regarding concerning that of these matters that are discussed concerning lu'ab al-ibl. So the hadith discuss more is discussed concerning that was the hukum, or the ulama have discussed concerning ma hukum lu'ab al-ibl. What's the hukum regarding the saliva of the ibl? Is it tahir or najas? Is it something that is said to be pure or impure? On this matter, regarding this from the hadith, what is apparent from the hadith, that the hadith is shows that it's something which is tahir. So the hadith from what which is shows that the saliva from the camel laysa bi najis. It is not something which is impure, because the Prophet Islam saw what was happening. The person was there. The saliva was running onto the shoulder of the Sahabi, who was Amr ibn Kharija, and the Prophet Islam observed this, and also he did not per se commented on this by saying this, by stating that it is something which is impure. So they mentioned it will become concerned is takrirat. The Prophet Islam is somewhat allowing this. So this shows and giving his approval by not commenting against this act, and warning the Sahabi of what was happening, and instruct him to do to purify this act. So he showed us something which is tahir and not najas. It's something which is pure and not impure. So as we know concerning the Sunnah of the Prophet Islam, it is decided, it is made up, it consists of things that is actions, the Prophet Islam actions, Prophet Muhammad's speech, and also takrirati, and also things that he approved of that was done by the Sahaba. So something they did, and did not forbid that thing. He allowed them and permitted them to do of that thing. So they show that that's something which is permitted or permissible. So this is from what is apparent from the hadith, that it showed the camel saliva, it is something which is pure. And by this, the ulama have mentioned by this that it showed that also the other animals that are eaten, such as cows, goats, sheep, those type of cattle, that animal that we can eat of their meat, that also their saliva, it is something which is, that their saliva it is tahir, that their saliva it is pure and not impure. So what is our discussion between the ulama regarding this matter? So they mentioned here, and they mentioned regarding that with ijma, that some of the ulama have said that is an ijma regarding concern that lu'ab al-ibl tahir, that lu'ab al-ibl, that it is something which is pure, are stated by some, mentioned as an ijma. But regarding the matter in further discussion, that it is stated regarding concerning of this particular matter. But the hadith show the permissibility, show that it is something which is pure. Then by extension, ulama can somewhat include concerning that any animal that we eat of their meat, then also their saliva, also it is pure. And that would also include those animals that we eat of their meat, that their saliva is pure, also their urine is pure, and also their dung, their waste is also pure. So those three things will be considered to be pure: their saliva, their urine, those animals' dung, that, and also things that they so if any water, any of their leftover water they have drunk from, also is said to be pure. So these things are all said to be tahir, all said to be pure. So that's concerning that matter. And a discussion regarding lu'ab al-ibl and these animals regarding are proof that these things are pure. That the Shaykh, he mentioned the hadith of Jabir ibn Samara, where he mentioned the Prophet ﷺ that he was asked, "Usalli fi murabit al-ghanam," am I allowed to pray in the animal pen? Qal nam. Islam says yes. Qal, then the person asks, "Usalli fi mabarak al-ibl," am I allowed to pray in the sleeping place of the ibl? Qal la. Then Islam said no. So then it mentioned, فذكرنا رحمه الله, that An-Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned, أن هذا متفق عليه بين علماء, regarding concerning that he mentioned that these things that I mentioned regarding concerning that the permissibility for a person that concerned, or the tahara, and regarding that Islam gave permissibility for a person to pray in this area regarding the sheep pen. So it shows that, and in it would have his urine, his stool. So it shows that Islam still allowed the person to pray inside this area of the sheep pen and the goat pen. So it shows us now that these things are considered to be pure. And now Rahimah mentioned that is mujma alayhi bain ulama. It is muttafaqun alayhi bain ulama. It is something which is agreed upon between the ulama. So that's regarding the ghanam. Then they mentioned regarding concerning the next matter regarding concerning Mubarak al-Ibl, that based upon this, where the place that the camel that they sleep and rest, that a discussion regarding are they also their waste of stool and urine, is it considered to be tahir? So based upon this, the fans of the ulama that they have mentioned regarding concerning that as for their stool and their urine, that a discussion between ulama. So of this matter, that they mentioned that of those who mentioned that it is even with this hadith that mentioned regarding that the Prophet ﷺ forbade that one should not pray in the sleeping place of the Ibl, as he told a person not to pray inside this. Nam. So they mentioned that some mention that it is not for the reason of this area being najas. So the Prophet ﷺ did not forbid them to pray in this area because of it being najas, but they mentioned that that Islam that their stool and their urine is not najas. But the reason, as Islam mentioned, another hadith mentioned, where Su'ila Rasulullah and Salat fi Mubarak al-Ibl, where he again was asked regarding concerning praying in the area where the camel rests, that he and sleep, he mentioned فقال لا تصلي في مبارك الإبل, not to pray in the resting place of the Ibl. Then he mentioned فإنها من الشياطين. Why? Because it is from the shayateen. The Ibl, the camel is from the shayateen. So it is not because it is najas why he forbade for people to pray in the Mubarak, the resting place, Mubarak al-Ibl, the resting place of the camel, but rather the reason why it is forbidden to pray there because that they are made, the camel is from the shayateen. So it's not because of the impurity of their urine or dung, but rather for another reason. So from this hadith, it is not taken and understood that the Prophet Islam, Muhammad the Prophet Muhammad when he forbade from the use of salat, praying in this area, is not because of the najasa, but for another reason. So that's concerning that particular matter. And the hadith mentioned where Islam قال لا تصلوا في مبارك الإبل فإنها من الشياطين. That hadith that we mentioned here, hadith in the Abu Dawud والترمذي وابن ماجه وأحمد, وحديث mentioned إسناده صحيح. إسناده صحيح. As mentioned here by Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan, حفظ الله ورعاه. So that's concerning. So that hadith is not a proof to say that the urine and the dung of the Ibl is najas. So that also, and the hadith that we mentioned before, the hadith of the Bab, that it shows that their saliva, it is pure. And as mentioned, some mention that as ijma. Some mention regarding the saliva of the Ibl, it is pure. A discussion regarding the dung, but the hadith of the dung and the milk of the urine of the Ibl, but it is something which is pure. And also to reinforce this, the hadith of the Prophet Islam, that Islam adna oraniyin, that those oraniyin, these people that mention yashrabun min albaniha, that he allowed them to drink from their milk of the Ibl, wa albabaha, and also abwalaha, and also their bowl, and also their bowl. So Islam allowed them to drink from their bowl, which is their urine. He allowed them to drink from this for those people who had an illness. So it shows regarding that, this is a matter that Islam allowed. This and the hadith in the Bukhari and Muslim regarding the Prophet Islam given an allowance for those people to drink regarding the milk of the Ibl and also their urine because of certain things because of the illness that they were experiencing. So they show the permissibility of this. So it shows that for them to drink from this, it shows it is pure. It shows that it is pure. So those are evidence that are used between the ulama regarding the discussion regarding the purity of the lu'ab, the saliva of the Ibl, and also by extension, any animal that we eat their meat, regarding the cow, also the ox, as well as also the deer, also goat, sheep, and the likes, because we eat of their meat. So by this, that their saliva is said to be pure and not impure. So that's concerning this hadith, regarding concerning these matter that relates to this discussion. A discussion between the ulama, that from this matter they discuss concerning that lu'ab al-adamiyin. So regarding concerning that, from an extension regarding that hadith, discuss primarily regarding the ruling pertaining to lu'ab, the saliva of the certain of the ibl and certain animals. Then they discuss concerning the matter that they discuss regarding concerning that lu'ab of the adamiyin. So adamiyin, the first category will be concerning those who are Muslim. So regarding concerning the lu'ab, that the saliva of the Muslim, male or female, young or old, that is considered to be tahir bil ijma. So the saliva of a Muslim, male or female, young or old, is considered to be tahir. And that was an ijma between the ulama. As for adamiyin, the regarding concerning a non-Muslim, what's the rule regarding their saliva? So they mentioned concerning the matter regarding that, with that matter, said the khilaf, a slight difference between the ulama on that matter, but the jumhur, majority of the ulama, of the position that the saliva of a non-Muslim is said to be ala sahih tahir, is also said to be tahir. So the saliva of a non-Muslim is also said to be tahir. And after the and then second, that I mentioned that contrary to the view taken by Ibn Hazm and those who follow him. So Ibn Hazm rahimahullah al-Zahiri is of the position that the saliva of a non-Muslim, it is najas. But that is incorrect. That view is incorrect. And others who may share that view with him, which is a minority. And the adillah, the proof that they use regarding this message, إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجِسٌ. إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجِسٌ. Where the surah in Surah Al-Tawbah, verse 28, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of Allah's statement, the meaning concerning إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ najis, that the mushrikun, the polytheists, that they're najis. Nam, which are policies concerning, would include non-Muslim, which are the non-Muslim. So they said, no, what is murad, what is intended, be najasa, ma'nawiya, concerning that, what is said to be najasa regarding, matter regarding, that they're najasa regarding by their involvement in worshipping other with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not per se there, not physically. Not to say that they physically are najas, but rather their najas referred to as being najas because of the acts that they're involved in regarding polytheism. So that's concerning that matter regarding those lu'ab al-hayawanat, and we mentioned regarding concern that not ijma, regarding to the one that we eat, also regarding the one that we do not eat, regarding the animal that we do not eat of their meat. So animals that we do not are not allowed to eat of their meat. We have somewhat discussed the matter mentioned. There's a khilaf regarding concern somewhat and regarding lu'ab, regarding bighal, sibaq, al-raji between the ulama regarding those animals that their saliva is a khilaf between ulama. But of the ulama who mentioned the saliva even of those animals, that some of those animals we do not eat of their meat, regarding concern that the donkey, I will discuss concern the donkey and the likes, that their saliva is not considered to be najis. Their saliva is not said to be najis, and we have discussed with the exception of those with exception regarding the pig and the dog. So those make an exception regarding the pig and the dog, but we have somewhat add that discussion regarding those that matter previously. So that's concerning that matter. So for example, the kit, which would be concerning the cat, that also the cat, even though we don't eat of the meat of the cat, but the cat also, saliva is said to be tahira. It's said to be tahira. So that's concerning this matter regarding hayawan, regarding their lu'ab, their saliva, is it najis or not? Also we include regarding adamiyin, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim, that and also regarding hayawan, that they have two categories, those that we eat of their meat, and those that we do not eat of their meat, and also those that we do not eat of their meat also fall into different categories. They fall into different categories So that discussion was mentioned previously regarding that this matter. So that inshallah ta'ala will end here. So as this hadith covers concerning hayawanat regarding their saliva and the likes. So that inshallah ta'ala will stop here. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذه السبيل والآخر دعونا الحمد لله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.